All right, CHP community. Anthony here. We're going to talk about stiff leg deadlifts and how I do them, how I call for them, and why I call for them the way I do, why I do them the way I do. So to demonstrate, we have a plate and an easy bar. You will probably be using a barbell. Everyone's pretty strong on this exercise, but just for demonstration purposes, this works with my room here. So stiff leg, so one thing I want to address is stiff leg versus Romanian deadlift. I prefer to call for stiff legs, and stiff leg, I mean your legs staying very, very straight. Not completely locked out, but very, very straight, whereas a Romanian deadlift, typically you have some bend at the knee. At least that's the way I interpret those exercises. I know there's a lot of conflation of terms there. So for the purposes of this video, that's how I'm defining them. So I'm only going to talk about stiff legs and why I like them. I personally have always felt stiff legs better for my hamstring. So I use this as a hamstring development exercise, a very heavy one. And mainly I think that's because you're getting a stretch across the two joints that the hamstring covers. The hamstring obviously covers your knee joint, right? So it's responsible for mostly bending at your knee, right? And also it crosses the hip joint, so it's partially responsible for when you do that, right? To some extent. Obviously it's not the main mover there, but it crosses both joints. So in a stiff leg position, you're stretching, you've got the hamstring maximally stretched at both joints. So you're basically putting it in a very, very weak position and forcing it to work from that position. So that's why I like it. That's why I think it works hamstrings so well. Setup. So I've got a plate here. This is actually a pretty small plate. You probably want one a little bigger than this, but the principle is the same that I'm going to show you. And then again, a bar. So you're going to place your toes on the bar. Heels are on the floor. All right, so toes on the bar, heels on the floor. What this is going to do is stretch your gastroc and put you in a position to stretch your hamstring. So you already are in a good position to stretch the hamstring. You're then obviously going to set your shoulders back, right, chest forward, right, good strong position with your back, trying to keep it pretty much in line. You don't want any rounding. You're not trying to make this a Jefferson curl, right? You're going to be going pretty heavy on this exercise for the most part. You don't want to compromise your lower back. There are other exercises to make your lower back stronger. With that said, of course, your lower back's going to get some work here just because you're going to be going pretty heavy. So what you're going to do is you grab the bar, right? Shoulders in good position. I've got my back tight. Shoulders pulled back, right? And then when I pull up, so right now my hamstrings are very, very stretched. This is as far down as I can go without starting to round my back, right? So for most guys, most men, even with a barbell and 45-pound plates, you're not going to touch the ground, right? So you don't need a platform to do this. And the weight shouldn't touch the ground from rep to rep. For women, because for the same height, your legs are typically a little shorter than a guy's, you may touch. You're more likely to touch, from my experience. So you may need a platform to stand on so you don't touch. But for guys, you probably do not. It's very rare when I see a guy that touches, either they have freakishly long arms or they're super mobile at their hips. All right, so I got my legs very, very straight, right? Not much bend in my knee at all, right? So even at the bottom, that's where I want to be, right there. Not quite locked up, but very, very close. When I contract up, what I'm doing is I'm squeezing my glutes, and then what I'm going to do is imagine pulling the back side of my rump here, my butt, towards the back of my knees. So I'm trying to imagine pulling here to there. Right? It sounds weird, but if you do it, you'll see what I mean. So I'm keeping my back tight, and I imagine pulling there to there. The only way I can do that is by shortening my hamstring. So it's going to force you to use your hamstring in this exercise. So you do that. You want to control the descent, of course, right? So from the top, control the descent, feel the stretch, make sure I'm not rounding. If I do that or roll my shoulders forward, we don't want that. Right, keep in good position here. This is my hamstrings are completely stretched at this point. Squeeze my glutes, pull my butt towards the back of my legs, squeeze my hamstrings. Right, and that's really what you want to see out of a stiff leg deadlift. At least that's what I do. That's why I've seen the best results out of it. Again, you may add some tweaks to it, but that's what works for me, and that's what I typically call for with my clients.